DNA evidence has helped hundreds of wrongfully convicted people, including Stephen Barnes of Marcy today. Barnes and two others whose names have made national headlines shared their stories here in the Mohawk Valley. News Channel 2's Evan White joins us from the newsroom with more on this story. Evan?
Kristen, thanks. Well, Daryl Hunt and Kirk Bloodsworth came to Utica to talk about their painful stories with local attorneys. Hunt faced life behind bars, and Bloodsworth spent 2 years on death row. But like Barnes, each were held out hope and were rewarded for their.
Just hoping one day that somebody would listen and know the truth, that the truth will come out.
Daryl Hunt spent 19 years in prison for raping and killing a female reporter in his hometown of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That was more than 2 decades ago, and it was a crime he didn't commit.
At 5 years, I could have took a plea bargain and been free. But I couldn't live with myself.
Today, he and Kirk Bloodsworth, a former death row inmate, spoke at a luncheon with local lawyers. They talked about the criminal justice system and their struggles behind bars.
Being the most hated man in the state of Maryland, that's where I'm from, and where the crime occurred, is indescribable.
In 1993, Bloodsworth was exonerated after being accused and convicted of raping and killing a young girl in Maryland.
I've lost so much.
The two men were joined by another who'd been cleared by DNA evidence, Stephen Barnes from Marcy. In November, he was released from prison after being cleared in the rape and murder of Kimberly Simon.
I always said I was innocent, and there's like a lot of people, you tell them you're innocent in prison, a lot of guys don't believe you. They say, yeah, everybody says they're innocent, but if you want.
Now, currently, Barnes works with ex-offenders in Oneida County. The other two work heavily with nonprofit groups. For more background on their stories, you can take a look at our website, WKTV.com, which next to this story has a couple of
First at 5:30, paying for someone else's bad choices. Former inmates exonerated for unspeakable crimes share their stories here in the Mohawk Valley. Good evening once again. DNA evidence has helped clear many convicted criminals' names.
Now in November, Stephen Barnes of Marcy was freed after 20 years behind bars. Today, 2 similar stories were told in Utica. News Channel 2's Evan White spoke with Daryl Hunt and Kirk Bloodsworth and joins us with a look at their stories. Evan, good evening.
Good evening, Steve. Well, like Barnes, both endured horrors of prison life and the mental strain of knowing that they were innocent. Hunt and Bloodsworth joined Barnes and local attorneys at a luncheon in Utica earlier today. Both told stories of hope, but also major setbacks. Hunt, a North Carolina native, was charged with the 1984 raping and killing of a female news reporter named Deborah Sykes. DNA evidence cleared him 10 years later, but he says legislation prevented his freedom until 2004 when laws changed. Bloodsworth was exonerated in 1993 after being accused of rape and murder of a 9-year-old girl in 1984. Now, during prison time, each held out hope of a release and eventually got it, but the price of their freedom was significant.
The psychological effect of it, you know, I still wake up in the middle of the night thinking I'm in prison. And I've been at home 5 years.
It's awful. You just think about chewing a piece of bubble gum. Now stick with me, but replace it with a pack of razor blades. Would you endure that? How would you think that would feel?
Now, both are heavily involved in not-for-profit work today. Hunt helps with others in similar situations to his, and Bloodsworth campaigns for criminal justice reform through the Justice Project. Now, the Innocence Project, which helped assist Bloodsworth in his case, did so same with Stephen Barnes in Marcy, did not help with Hunt's. But coming up new at 6, you'll hear from Stephen Barnes, the local man that was exonerated back in November. Stephen, Kristen?
All right, Evan White reporting from the newsroom with that story. Thank you, Evan.